Hey everybody, welcome to this week's Live with t.U.G. I'm so glad to have you guys here with me today. This is going to be a great week for gardening for us. We're going to talk about some of the things we got growing on as I just released a video tour of our gardens around here. So we'll talk a little bit about that, plus the video I just released yesterday as well. One of the first videos I've got released for our couple of videos I filmed while I was down in Los Angeles, and so we'll talk about some of that stuff as well, and what you guys have growing on yourself. So remember, right there in the comment section in the chat box there to let me know that you're here joining with me, and let me know what you got going on, where you're from, what's happening in your garden right now. I'd love to hear from you and involve you in the chat that we got going on today. So plus, also, if you're watching on the replay, down in the comment section below, let me know what you got growing on. Let me know where you're watching from, just the same, and hopefully we'll get some good comments and be able to talk about those on next week's live stream. So a good way to participate if you get to watch the replay as well too. So thank you all for joining me here today. So first off, I just want to go over some of the things that we've got growing on here on the Urban Gardener. As you've seen on the videos we just posted this week, the first one we posted a couple of days, well, about 4 days back or so, was a spring garden tour. So I got to walk around and show all the different things that we've got growing on right now. And you know, as I wished I had a little bit more, but when I was going through there and videoing everything, I really kind of realized I had quite a bit actually growing on. So it's a really great little garden tour, checking out all the different things that we got growing on here too. So I hope that you get a chance to go check that out and see the video of all of that too as well. We got to also in that video get an update on the video I did about growing container potatoes, and get to see the potatoes plants are kind of growing and coming out of the boxes really well, and they're really doing really well too. You know, I was out there just checking on them, seeing if they were watered up enough or weren't drying out on me or anything, and they look really great. Even the ones that I featured even the one that you see in the video that looks a little smaller than the other ones is just really growing and looking really awesome. In fact, I think on one of them they're about to like sprout out some flowers and everything, so that's a really good sign that those plants are doing really well. So after a couple of years of trying to grow container potatoes and not quite succeeding at getting good sized potatoes, we got bunches of little ones and whatnot in the last couple of years if you check out those videos, which is kind of the case for us so far. But I have a new spot that we've put them in, which I've talked about when I in the container potato video that I did. So we got a new spot. We've kind of mixed up soil a little bit with a little bit more organic material and whatnot in order to really feed those potatoes, and hopefully we'll get some really nice ones. So that, and also kind of got an update to see how the peas were growing on the back trellis that I have in the back of my carport. Peas are doing really well back there. Got a really nice little harvest off of them, and even since the video that I put out, I've gotten more of a peas too. Like every other day I'm getting a good double handful of peas and everything. So so that's really great to see those coming along really well, because what I do is I start them similarly like what I do with or what you do with garlic. You know, when you're growing garlic, you're going to put those out in the fall. You're going to get those little cloves from the bulbs, and you're going to plant them out in the fall time, and you let them grow throughout the winter time, and then harvest as you get towards summer. And peas, I find, are kind of the same sort of behavior for a different type of plant. You put them in the fall time. They get started, they establish their root system, they get going, just about so big by the time it starts really getting cold, enough to grab onto the trellis and everything, and then it gets cold enough, and then the plant just kind of goes dormant a bit. It just kind of stops growing as it's just a little too cool for them to grow. But when the weather starts warming up after wintertime, those pea plants, they really get a good head start. They got the established root system. They've already grown so big. They're well ahead of just planting peas into the ground. And so as a lot of plants are just getting started and getting going, I'm harvesting up tons and tons of peas. So that's really, really great. And they're really, really delicious too. I love those varieties that I'm growing out there too. And I like them just more for snacking and whatnot. I don't cook them up too much, except for a couple of recipes that I do. But they're just delicious. I love the peas that we're growing. So I see Nancy, you're with us here again this week. Great to have you here, and great to have everybody else here along with Nancy. And if you have, like I said, hit up that chat box right there and let me know where you're from, let me know what you're growing, let me know what's going on in your garden right now. Really love to hear from you and see what's happening there. And so just a little bit more about the little garden tour and everything that I did. Let's see, what else do we look at? Oh, so one of the 5-gallon water wicking bucket systems that I grow in. Just something I wanted to show. I kind of did something a little bit different with where I'm growing my broccoli plants. And I've got a few of them and some cabbages that are in other parts of the garden and everything. And I show those in the video as well. But what I'm going to talk about is I used dollar store laundry bags. They're kind of like a mesh bag that you buy at the dollar store. And I've got the regular like tomato cages. So I put the tomato cages into the 5-gallon bucket, and then I've let the plant grow up through that while it's covered over with the 5-gallon or the laundry bags, the mesh laundry bags. And that's really helped protect these plants from a lot of these just, oh, they're monsters, I tell you. And I'm going to tell you here in just a moment, really, the little white butterflies flying around in the garden. And I'm telling you, these guys, they just drive me insane. They always get by me, and I keep a good eye out for everything, and I keep a good eye out because what they do is they leave behind the eggs, which grow into the little cabbage worms, those little green worms that you can even hardly even see. They start out really, really tiny and just start eating and eating your plant. And by the time they get big enough that you can really, really see them, even though they're really camouflaged by their color, they've done so much damage to your plant already, just getting to that size because of all of the leaf that they're eating and everything. And so I protected the broccoli plants and set up something there that I showed in the video. I think it's kind of a clever idea, and it's really worked so far for the broccoli plants, because on the cabbages I've got out in the alleyway over here, those little butterflies got to these tons of little worms all over them. I spent a good part of the early morning today with little tweezers and pulling those suckers off of there, and they'd already done some pretty significant damage already to some of the outer leaves of the cabbage plants that I've got growing. I'm pretty sure that the plants will be okay, but I've got to really keep a real close eye on them now and pull them off and pull them off and pull them off, because oh man, it takes no time at all. I'm telling you, no time at all. You just turn around for a day or two, and then next thing you know, those things have just munched up a bunch of stuff. So check out the video and check out what I've got going on with those laundry mesh bags with the 5-gallon containers and stuff. That's a really, really good way to kind of keep them protected from that sort of damage. And plants are doing really, really well. I haven't had broccoli plants doing this well, so I think that's kind of one of the good keys, is keeping some of those worms off the plant, which causes damage to the plant, which kind of then sets the growth cycle back a little bit, I believe. So, not having that damage makes a healthier plant, so it grows a lot stronger and everything. So I suppose there's a lot of logic behind that, right? But yeah, so a really good idea on that part. I just got to figure out and probably get myself some row covers or some things like that for the other parts of the garden where I have more of a bed type of thing versus what I've got going in the 5-gallon buckets. So let's see here. We got Wisconsin vegetable gardener with us here today. Nice to see you here today. Awesome. Hello from Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Potatoes, onions, leeks, peas. We've got beets in the ground. Been very wet and cold here. Yeah, up in Wisconsin, you probably still got pretty a wet part of that spring season still going on there. But you got a lot of great cool season crops going on. A lot of the really good ones. Um, you got the beets in the ground, which are great. I put in some beets, and I thought I put them in a pretty good time. Still only got really little plants. So again, I don't know if it's just where I planted them and what kind of light they're getting because of the, where I've got my back patio area there too. So maybe that's a kind of an issue for the beets that I've got going on. But I really like those, and I really like the beet greens more than anything else, to tell you the truth. Um, so it's really good to have some good plants going, so they're producing some good greens for you and everything as well too. So that's really great to have you here with us, the Wisconsin vegetable gardener. And then what we got here, Gentry Homestead. Nice to see you. Is it Gentry? Am I pronouncing that right? Is it still cold? Too cold here to plant outside? Oh, it is still too cold to plant here outside, but I've been building my raised beds. Yes, if it's still too cold, there's still things you got to get to doing and get ready for when it does warm up, and you can get your garden started. So that's what a lot of the really intense harder work is also when it's cold too, is you're preparing, building beds, building up, like for me in my patio, building up some boxes or fixing and repairing things and just getting things all ready to go. That's a lot of there's a lot of good work there though too, because it's good to get that all done and then see the great garden that you get to have later on growing in all of those things that you put together. And then we got NJ Callie Gardner with us again this week. Thanks again for coming and joining us again here on this really cool Wednesdays live stream thing that we've been doing now. And this is the 4th week in a row. We've been doing this 4 weeks in a row, live on Wednesdays at 5 p.m. And we're just kind of getting together and talking about gardening, and for me, talking about some of the videos and the things that we've got going on here on the Urban Gardener, and be able to kind of give just a little bit more kind of a talk about some of those things. I really encourage you all, if you haven't already gotten a chance to go check out some of those videos that we've got from the Urban Gardener. Even go back and check out videos. I've got some really great stuff. Really get to meet up with some really great people who do some really awesome things with gardening. And we also got some really cool more episodes coming. I've got a couple of more episodes coming from Los Angeles, the videos that I did while I was down there, and I'm really excited about bringing you those ones too. One of the videos, I'm just going to mention really quickly, I talked to a few people about the possibility of getting to do this video, and a couple of the people basically told me that it's just not going to happen. Those people, it's not going to happen. They're not going to let you come over and do a video. They're not going to do that. And they wouldn't for other people, that sort of thing. And I don't know, maybe persistence or that sort of thing pays off or anything, but I've got a really cool video coming up at a place where, they said that I wasn't going to be able to do it. And so I really look forward to seeing that video coming up here in the next week. Hopefully it's going to be this next week, hopefully that we'll have that one coming out as well as a really cool video I did with a really cool gardener in Santa Monica. I just saw something that she did, or actually no, she was featured on Humans Who Grow Food. Now, their Instagram and Facebook type of group page. If you haven't got to check that out or see that, just type it in there, Humans Who Grow Food. Check them out. Lots of great features on great gardeners everywhere. And I was just planning the trip going down to LA and saw this really cool kind of garden beds that were being done on a patio, similar to what I do in a sense, but different. And I was really impressed. I really liked them, and I wanted to go check them out and everything. So I contacted this gardener and asked her if I could come out to Santa Monica and visit her and do a video and check out what she had growing on. And she was really, really enthusiastic about doing it. She had gave us a great little garden tour of her little garden space that she has and everything, and sat down and talked with us and everything about her gardening and all of that. It was just a great, great fun afternoon getting to hang out with her and discuss gardening and everything. It's just, so look forward to that video coming up as well too here in the next week or so, as we kind of show some of the things that I've got that I did while I was down in California. Just really having a great time, really getting to kind of take a vacation in one sense, but yet at the same time kind of really, really have fun with the channel, get to meet some really cool people and do some really, really fun things and everything. So so basically I kind of started with the contact with John Kohler, and him kind of inviting me to go and do videos and hang out with him there in his Las Vegas gardens. And from there I figured, well, might as well just kind of push it back to LA. I went to LA a few months back, and there were some things that I didn't quite get to do that I wanted to. So I had a little bit more extra time this time, so I wanted to kind of take some time for myself and kind of have a fun little vacation and enjoy some of the sights and some of the things going on. And if some people follow or friends or follow me through Facebook or see my Facebook profile, then you'll got to have seen some of the kind of picture stories and things that I did while I was down there. Let's see here real quick. I'll get back to the story here. There's some people talking in here I can see. NJ Kelly Gardner says, I have kale, strawberries, Swiss chard, beets, 5 different tomatoes, 4 citrus trees. Now citrus trees, I love citrus trees. That's why it's really cool, important to check out the video I just did, I put out yesterday. We talk about some really, really cool citrus trees with someone who really knows their stuff when it comes to that. 3 stone fruit and 2 fig, along with 3 different variety of blueberries grown in containers. That's absolutely cool. And all of those things actually we talked about in the video that I just put out yesterday, actually. Pretty much all of that, except for tomatoes. I don't know if we covered tomatoes, but yeah, we covered citrus trees, stone fruit, figs, blueberries in containers. Absolutely. Check out the video that we just put out. We talked about that sort of stuff. Those are really great things. And the one thing I didn't think about too much, I planted blueberries out on my along my alleyway to kind of create a cool blueberry bush row type of thing. But I guess, you know, for kind of keeping that acidic soil and really kind of keeping that stuff in check, blueberries really grow well in containers. It's a really good thing, and that was one of the things that Charles kind of talked about a little bit in the video, and we kind of talked about a bit when I was down there visiting and everything. But our blueberries are doing great, though. We're doing really great. Let's see, I also have 1 black and 1 probably red raspberry. Awesome raspberries. Yes, I'm getting some raspberries growing too. I love raspberries. Black ones though, I haven't had any. I haven't even tried a black raspberry before. Bet you they're delicious. Get a lot of those darker colors and everything too that you get to eat. That'd be really awesome. Okay, let's see. Wisconsin Vegetable Gardener says, it is a great feeling to make something happen when everyone else has said no, it won't happen. Videos for us sponsors who say no, but then they say yes, we will be part of your show. Yes, talking about the video that I got coming up and everything, it's a really good feeling, especially from the people who were telling me that I wasn't going to be able to get this video too. And I'm really kind of be able to feel extra smile on my face to be able to put that video out, and they get to see that I got to do that video actually after we had talked about the possibility that it probably wouldn't happen. And it really was last minute though too. It kind of came down to the last minute before I found out for sure whether or not that video was actually going to happen. But the great thing about it though is that when I got there and I met up with the people to do the video, they were just really, really great people, and were really kind of you know, just really game for doing the whole video and everything. It was just it was a really good time. It was a really great place to see too. This is a place that I'm trying not to give it away at all. I'm trying not to do spoilers at all because I really like this video. I think it's also a place that if you've been into gardening for a while, you've probably seen this place featured somewhere in social media and whatnot, pictures or some sort of thing of what they have going. So, you know, that's about as much as I'm going to give there on that. Look forward to the video as it's coming up. NJ Kelly Gardner asks if I have ever heard of the chocolate bootla pepper. Oh yeah, well, chocolate bootlas versus chocolate of other different type of varieties, habaneros and different, you know, you get those different chocolate varieties of a lot of different peppers. But yeah, I've heard of bootlas and chocolate bootlas and all of that. I don't know if I've grown any actually. I did grow chocolate habanero, and I got seeds for a chocolate reaper that I didn't grow. I don't even know. I think I looked for them and I don't know where they went. But yeah, very, very hot peppers. I love really, really growing hot peppers though. I don't really consume too much of them. I kind of made some powders and stuff that I've kind of sprinkled on some things to give it a try to see how well I could do with making some powders out of the stuff I did. And it wasn't bad, and I really, you know, kind of actually enjoyed it. The heat did, as hot as the peppers were when they were broken down in the powder, or at least being able to put it on in a certain amount, probably kept the heat down just a bit much. But yeah, I'm just hot peppers. I've had a lot of people ask me because I do grow several different varieties of some really hot peppers, and I have, you know, and I give away some to a lot of people who are looking for those type of things from where I work, and friends and family and neighbors and whatnot. So I got a lot of people who really do enjoy them themselves and stuff that I grow and give them to and everything as well. But I love just growing pepper plants in all sorts of varieties and heat levels and all that sort of stuff. So pepper plants have just been something that when I first started getting into gardening, actually, I had the darndest time growing pepper plants. They were just a big challenge to me, and I just wanted to grow some really nice, successful peppers. And over a few seasons, really kind of got it down, got a system down that I really like, and something that I'm gonna kind of talk about a little bit in a video coming up, as well as I cover the peppers that I'm gonna be growing here this year in the gardens. So we'll be talking about the peppers and tomatoes coming up in a video here coming up too as well. But check out some of the older videos I did, because it's gonna be a little more condensed. I'm not gonna spend as much time as I've spent on peppers in the past couple of seasons on my videos, because those videos are still pretty good, and you can go back and check those to kind of get some of the information of the system that I use for growing my peppers and everything as well. We'll get kind of a glance over of it here coming up real soon. We'll talk about the different varieties and everything that I'll be growing in my garden this year. So look forward to that video too as well. Nice. Yes, definitely nice. So, all right, let's get back to talking about, well, I talked a bit about the spring garden tour video that I did. I encourage you all to go check that out to see kind of what we got growing on around here. Really, really looking nice. I was really, you know, after getting a chance to go through and do some video and then looking at it back through again while I was editing and everything, I was like, you know, that's actually, we got some really good things growing on this year. Not as much as I was hoping for and hoping to have and everything, but we do got some really good stuff, and we got some really great things coming up as well. We got some things that, you know, but I'm going to talk about, because, you know, not everything is successful in the garden, you know, and I don't want to be putting out and talking about things in my videos and stuff where everything's just a success all of the time. You know, just like I was talking about with the container potatoes and everything, I kind of want to share some of the things that I'm kind of, you know, dealing with, and the struggles and things that I'm going on in my garden, because everybody else deals with those as well too. So that's one of the things that I wanted to kind of be sure and be open about is to kind of show and talk about some of those things that are not as successful as well, because you know, not everything is some great garden, you know, and plants aren't always, you know, looking so nice and green and whatnot, you know. You know, there's issues, and so, you know, I talk about some of those things too, just a little bit too, coming up in that video when I'm going to talk about peppers and tomatoes as well, you know. So look forward to that. Um, but the trip that I took down south to Southern California and everything, I was just going to mention that I left Las Vegas and took off for Los Angeles to kind of do some things that I didn't get a chance to do before. And one of the things that I really wanted to do when I was down in LA was because I watched this other YouTube channel of an old Saturday Night Live comedian, Kevin Nealon, and he interviews comedians and actors and different people and different YouTubers and whatnot while hiking through different canyon hikes in Los Angeles. Now, for a city of Los Angeles, you wouldn't really necessarily think about it, but it's got a lot of just really amazing hiking all throughout the city. They've got tons of different canyons and hills, and all of them have some sort of hike that leads up to some sort of really spectacular view. And so that was one of the things I really wanted to do that I didn't get a chance to do when I went to LA the last time. I kind of packed some things in a short period of time when I visited down there last time. So this time I really wanted to make sure I got in and got to do some hiking. And I really kind of started off with a hike on the beach. I went back down to the Santa Monica Pier and just kind of walked and hiked and went all up the beach. Man, I must have hiked a few miles that day. It was really nice day. The surf, all of the people having fun and swimming in the ocean and all that stuff, just absorbing all of that sort of great experience that I don't normally get. I don't live anywhere near an ocean, and I haven't really most of my life actually lived very close to an ocean. A little bit when I was younger, we would go to the ocean and visit it and check out a little bit there and stuff, but to kind of hear crashing waves and all that sort of stuff was really nice. It was just a really relaxing, fun hike to be able to walk up and down the beach there and everything and kind of get that experience and everything. And then the next day, I went and did a meetup and shot a video and got recommended a hike. Trying to Los Leones, I think is what the hiking trail is called, and went and did that. And it was actually kind of later in the afternoon. I was like, oh, maybe I could get this in. It should, you know, by the distance of the hike, it seemed like it would only take so much time and everything. So I was like, oh, I could squeeze this in. And it ended up being more like a really great get up there, see the view of everything, which was spectacular. You got to see all of the ocean, the city skyline and everything. But what I ended up getting as a bonus treat just by being a little bit later was just this really cool sunset up in the hills there outside of Santa Monica and that area there. I'm not quite too familiar with what the names of those areas are, but just a really great hike. It was really awesome. And then I think I did a hike almost every single day that I was there on a different canyon and everything. So it was just really awesome to be able to get and do that. It was so much fun to be able to get to also spend some time and relax and, you know, and just enjoy nature and, you know, kind of, you know, and another thing though too is a lot of interaction, more than you would think when you're out hiking. They're busy trails. It's Los Angeles. There's a lot of people. They have some really great trails, but they got a lot of people hiking them too. You know, there's just constantly people going, either passing you up or doing this and that. So, you know, a lot of people out there and everything too. So it was just kind of fun to be out and involved and doing that sort of thing on some really awesome weather too, which is finally starting to catch up with us here at home too. So we're getting some really awesome weather. It's kind of making me feel like what it was like just a few weeks back when I was down there. It was raining and pouring and just really cold spring weather here when I went to Los Angeles. So it was really awesome to be out in that sunshine and to get to do all of that sort of stuff. So anyways, let's see here. Nancy, that's what I like. You are real. Thank you. I try to be. I try to be. And that's the way that I want to do is just kind of, be real and be honest and talk about the things that are growing on and doing everything and with this channel and just kind of have a shared experience with everybody. And that's kind of what the channel's about, is to have a really great garden adventure, to get out and meet some really great gardeners and do some really great things in my own garden, to be able to share with all of you guys and everything, and to also, like what we're doing here on Wednesdays live now, is just this awesome ability for me, for one, just to ramble on and on and on. I mean, I'm just going on here. I'm trying to keep connected and make sure I'm not missing anything that you guys might be saying over in the chat box right now. In fact, I think I'm still pointing the wrong way. I've been doing that the last few weeks. I watch back on the replay to make sure that it's came through all right and everything, and then I noticed that I'm pointing the wrong direction. So yes, this way to the chat box right now. And let us know what you got going on and what's going on there and everything like that. And if you're watching the replay of this live stream and everything, write down in the comments section to let me know that you're watching and let me know you were here. Let me know what's growing on in your gardens and all of that sort of stuff. So I want to thank you all for really just kind of hanging out with me and kind of talking about some of the things that are growing on, talking about a little bit here about the videos and everything that I've been putting out. Put out a video yesterday, and this was a really, really fun video. I got to do a meetup again with somebody I met the last time I went to LA, the last time several months ago. I'll just talk about that for a second. I had something kind of cancel on me when I was in LA, and I had like a free afternoon, and I didn't want to lose out on making some sort of content. And similar to one of the other videos I did as well, but kind of had a free afternoon and I wanted to go and meet somebody and do something, and I had seen something on Facebook that Charles had put out, and thought it was just a really, really amazing, cool thing. And it was right there in Los Angeles. It was right in Hollywood, and it was only just so far away from where I was at the time, where what I was hoping to get to do got canceled. So I basically sent him a message real quick right through Facebook Messenger. I was like, yeah, because he was supposed to be doing a garden talk at this community resource center called A Million Drops. And so it just like was going to be just perfectly in time. I was going to be able to make it, all that sort of stuff. So I wanted to message him ahead of time and ask him, hey, do you think that I could come down and we could do a video and talk about what you got going on there at the Million Drops, and talk about urban gardening and all that sort of stuff. And he was just really, really up for it. Thought it was really great. Got right back to me and everything. So right off to Hollywood I was to go and meet up with him at A Million Drops, which is just a really great resource center for homeless youth and homeless in general there in the Hollywood area of Los Angeles. And they have a lot of things, like books, and they have shower truck that comes by and offers showers for them. People bring food out and those sort of things. And I got to meet up with Charles Malky there, who goes and spends about once a week or so, goes and spends time there with them and talks about the importance of gardening and vegetables and those sort of things, and help them build and set up their own urban garden there, which is helped and supported by the church that's there on that property. So they have a nice little back area where they set up a cool urban garden. So I mean, if you haven't seen that video and you haven't had an introduction to Charles as well, go back on the YouTube page and check out the video for A Million Drops. And you get to kind of see that little space and everything that they got growing there. I just thought it was just a really, really awesome thing, and I wanted to share that with people and talk about that sort of thing. Here's a guy who's building a business, and his business is he calls IV Organics, and he's got let me see here, he's got a 3-in-1 plant guard, which is kind of kind of a paint that you can put on your trees and your plants to protect them from sunburn and sun scald and the cold and all of that sort of stuff. And you know, and I don't mind promoting that and everything because of what I got to see when I was there. Um, and and one of the things I kind of mentioned a little bit too when I was talking to him in the video that I just put out yesterday too, and talked a little bit more with him while I was there visiting, was that, you know, when I was there and doing the video and everything, and him sitting down and we're doing interviews, that wasn't just my camera set up and me and him sitting there doing the interview. There were people standing around us and everything who were participating in the event that, or in the classes and the things that he does and teaches there. Those people really, really appreciate what Charles does for them and did in setting up and working with them each week at that community resource center. And it's just a really, really awesome thing. And I think his product is really, really unique and cool too. I think it's something that people should check out and look into as well. I'd love to see more maybe bigger gardeners out there kind of check out his stuff and see how well it works and kind of give it some good reviews and all of that stuff as well too. But it was really great. We got to get back together with him again, this time again. And we went to his house in the Hollywood Hills. He's got a nice little home there, but he's got a really nice backyard, kind of tiered urban garden set up there. And he's growing some really, really amazing citrus trees, avocados. He's got a 10-in-1 fig tree. You got to check out the video. Check out this 10-in-1 fig tree. He's got a 3-in-1 stone fruit tree as well. He's got a bunch of other really cool, great, awesome things growing on there. Let's see here. Wait a minute. Real quick, I'm going to catch up with this here. The Wisconsin Vegetable Gardener says Charles knows much about tree and he is a big biologist and the product works really, really well. And that's great to hear because I know that you do sponsor and work with him on that too. And that's really, really great. And I like to see more people do that and check that out because it is, for me, I haven't got a chance to check with it or know or understand the product myself. I'm learning more about the applications and everything. But I think for people who really, really know their stuff in gardening, they need to be reviewing and checking this out because it needs to kind of get out there and people need to check it out because really ultimately I have no problem promoting somebody like Charles because he's just a really, really great person. And it was something that I found out it was really, really evident in both times I got to meet up with him. He really kind of went all out in the visit, you know, kind of just treating me like I was, you know, like I had, you know, 1 million subscribers and I was like the big time YouTuber showing up in his backyard garden and everything. He's got a YouTube channel that blows mine away. You know what I mean? He's got all of that sort of stuff. He, you know, and he just really treated me like I was really, really on, you know, right up there and everything too, which was really made me feel special while I was there because of being a small YouTube channel. I don't got, you know, that quite big of an audience yet, but I've got an awesome audience, but I don't, you know what I mean? But it's just to have him just kind of welcome me there, just really kind of open the red carpet, get everything all ready and set up and all that sort of stuff. Give us a great, really great tour of all the things that he's got growing there. And then include me on a video that he did, and which I wasn't necessarily comfortable doing too. So you got to check out that video. There's links to that video in the video I just put out of our visit yesterday. So I hope you all get the chance to go check that out too, because I end up helping him prune one of his avocado trees. And when you see how we prune it, yeah, but he knows what he's talking about, and I trust everything that he says and everything, so I can't wait to be able to get back and do an update and check out how everything turned out with those and everything. In my video as well, we did some pruning of one of his avocado trees as well too, and we got to show a bit of the 3-in-1 plant guard that he's got there as well too. So we had a really great talk with him, great conversation, and kind of got to, see him at home. And he had one of his daughters who has a little YouTube channel herself, came out and helped us out with making some video and everything. It was really kind of fun to see them interact and everything, and just could see that he just has a really great relationship with his kids and all that sort of stuff, and just was really great. And So, just a really great, awesome experience with Charles there and everything. So I really hope that you all get to check out that video and all of that sort of stuff. Even made it better too. We spent a whole afternoon working and putting together the videos and everything. And after that, went out and took me out down into Hollywood there, and we got to go do some sightseeing and checking things out and everything. It was just an incredible host. Just like I was saying with John Kohler. John Kohler blew me away too. Here's a guy who's got, well over 500,000 subscribers, treating me like I've got more than he does. Same with Charles, treating me like it's just a really great experience altogether when it came to those two visits. And I'm really looking forward to be able to do collaborations again with Charles and do some more things, come up with some different things that we can show and do as projects and stuff in the Los Angeles area when I go back and visit and everything. So definitely be somebody to be seeing more of on my channel, because it's just really great to have someone participate and take part in what we're doing here on the Urban Garden, and help make this garden adventure even more fun. And when I'm going into a lot of this too, I'm kind of, I'm taking off from Southern Oregon, and I'm taking a nice long drive all the way down to Southern California, and kind of nervous about how things are going to go, and I'm going to meet up with these guys, that I look up to, in a sense, because they've got larger channels and all of that, and there's things I want to learn and be able to, kind of absorb while I'm there and visiting and everything. And but there's a lot kind of goes through the mind that you're not too sure about what the outcome is going to be when you take on an adventure like that, and it's a big one. And I have to say that this, the time before too, when I went to Los Angeles, it was the same thing. I was really worried about it. Turned out to be a really awesome experience. Same thing with this one. It was doubly awesome because I got to go have a great garden adventure, come up with some really great videos and content that I can share with all of you guys out there and everything, but also get to spend some really good time, quality time for myself, getting to see some really fun things and everything. And, like I said, with Charles, throwing in a nice little sightseeing and adventure down in Hollywood there on the Walk of Fame, and getting to see all of that really good that stuff that for someone where I live and all of that, you really only see on television and everything most of the time. I did get to go see the Walk of Fame once before, many years ago, but it was really cool to have that kind of hospitality and everything, and it's just really something else. It really makes a lot of the effort and the things that I'm doing, even like I said, even though I am kind of a small channel, I'm getting out there and I'm doing some things that I think are kind of big, and in my mind, as far as gardening, and getting to meet some of these really great content creators out there who are doing gardening channels and things that I've been watching and following along with and everything, and now I'm creating and making them and getting to spend time with them and everything. It's just really great that they really, you know what I mean? And it probably comes mainly from the idea that they all know what it was like back to be a small channel, and what it was like to build and try to build up this sort of thing, so really, again, really appreciative to Charles. I hope that he's checking out the replay and gets to see the thank you that I for him for doing that and everything. So but really, just like I said, it was just a really great visit to get down there, do some hiking, do a lot of things, and get to see. One of the things about getting to visit in an area like that is to get to see all of these things that I don't get the chance to grow. I mean, in the tour that Charles gave us of his backyard and everything, the really thing I kept mentioning him over and over again is how jealous I was of all of the really awesome, cool things he's got growing there. I mean, he's growing these really cool lemon trees, and I suppose I could figure out and work with some sort of container type of stuff that I'm trying to figure out with that sort of stuff when it comes down to it. But he's just got really great, beautiful, awesome lemon trees growing out of his own backyard. The avocados, the avocado trees are just really awesome. And oh, the one thing I didn't mention, he's got bananas. Bananas. How bananas is that? It's cool with that to be able to grow bananas in your garden. And he gets to grow bananas, and if you do it right and you get it set up right and you work with it right, you could grow bananas in those climates and everything down there as well. So So, I mean, but for me to get the opportunity to go down there and see all of these really cool things that are growing and all of that, let's see here. Late, but I'm here. Chris, thanks for joining in, Chris, and coming in and checking out this week's live here Wednesday. And what he says, he just finished transplanting a bunch of corn, and hola from Mexico. Hola. Chris is down in Mexico there, good friend of mine. And good thing you got those in the ground, because I was thinking about those just a little bit more too as we were talking and stuff about them being in the containers and everything and whatnot. I hope you were able to kind of get them protected and away from where the chickens are going to be and whatnot. But with the root system that the corn grows with, you want to get those in the ground, and really best to just kind of chit them out a little bit, which is, you know, basically kind of putting them in a wet towel and whatnot. Let the roots kind of pop out on them a little bit, and once they do that, you know they're live and ready to go. Poke a hole in the soil about 2-3 inches deep, drop them right in there, and I've never had a problem growing corn and getting it to grow up just perfectly in that sort of sense. And I can imagine down in Mexico with some of those varieties in corn that they have down there in Mexico, you can get some really, really great corn. Let's see here. Yep, Nancy says hi, Chris. Say hi, they're awesome. Wisconsin vegetable gardener, what growing zone am I in? Well, I guess there's some debate about that. When I talk to people around here, it varies from, like, people will say 7 to 8B and whatnot. I consider it about an 8. We get some pretty good winters. It's a valley, which I think I talked about in last week's live stream and whatnot. I got a setup of a valley. It's kind of a deep valley, and so during the winter we get some pretty extreme cold kind of winter, and then during the summer we get some really, really hot summers. It just kind of holds the cold in, holds the heat in. So we kind of got that kind of microclimate going on in whatever the USDA climate zone that they say I'm in is, I believe, 8B and whatnot. Yeah, Chris, it's 8B, right? Yeah, and that's pretty much what I go by. It's, although when you're going by growing zones, you're really, what you're kind of getting is a general idea of when your last frost date is, what your first frost date is, and then some other type of climatic information as well, that you get kind of with the understanding of the zone and whatnot. But what I find, though, even if you look it up, is they're telling you that the last frost date for the area and the zone and everything is, around the second week of May. And again, this year, I always go with a precaution with growing my peppers and the real summer hardy stuff, like starting the pumpkins and squash and all of those sort of things like that. I wait until after that time anyways. But since I started growing here, I see people putting these things out a month beforehand, and they're growing just fine. I haven't seen a real frost kind of thing happen. I've talked with people who've gardened in this area for the last couple of decades, and they pretty much agree with me as well that we can kind of get it started a month ahead of time. But I don't know, just something kind of, when it comes to certain stuff, I'm just a little too iffy about actually doing it, because I'd be too afraid something's actually going to happen. But then, like I talked about last week, the weather seemed like it was kind of iffy. Didn't know whether or not there might be a frost coming up or not. But then I come and look at the weather reports for the next week or so, this week, and I'm ready to go. I'm gonna start putting things out. I'm gonna at least get a week or so ahead of time and start getting things going as well too, because we're like in the 80s right now. I think it might even hit 90 coming up in the next couple of days or so. And the worst I saw in the weather report was maybe down in the lower 70s with a little bit of rain hopefully coming up, because we need some more rain. I need rain. I need to fill back my rain buckets back up. Sandra. Well, Sandra, thanks for at least stopping by and checking everything out, and at least saying good night, because good night to you. Thanks for stopping by. And day was blessed. Today is blessed. I'm blessed I got all of you here joining with me today. It was something I was really looking forward to today. I've been doing this now for 4 weeks in a row, doing the live stream, just kind of getting here in front of the camera, rambling on, and I'm really surprised that I can just keep talking and rambling on. I'm trying to keep the flow going as things are going there and whatnot, but but it's just really great to get a chance and an opportunity for all of you guys out there to be able to come and check out what we've got going on here. Maybe, you know, get just a little bit more kind of information about some of the videos that I put out and everything as well. And hopefully, you know, if some people are coming from Facebook and checking it out, hopefully you'll go and check out some of the videos that I've got going on and everything as well too, and see what we got going on here at the Urban Gardener. We have a really fun garden adventure, yeah, you know, that I'm having here, which is just like I was saying here, I'm blessed. You know, I get to hang out with such great friends and great people who stop by once a week and say hi and come and visit with me and let me know how things are going and growing on in your gardens. And I get to let you know how things are going and growing on my garden and some of the different garden adventures that I've, you know, that I'm, you know, that I've been on, which we'll talk about a little bit more. You know, in the coming weeks and whatnot. I just got a lot of things that I kind of want to fit in and talk about kind of surrounding the certain episodes that I'm releasing around the time of these live streams and sort of things. So next week we'll kind of talk about some of the ones, these upcoming videos that I kind of hinted to just a little bit earlier. And then, you know, this week we're just kind of talking a little bit about the videos that I just released this last week. And, you know, kind of just get a little bit more information or a little more in-depth behind the scenes type of talk about some of the things that are going on, you know, like getting a chance to tell you about getting to do some really great hiking and everything in Los Angeles while I was down there visiting and everything. And let's see here. Okay, so Chris says, I'll have to go back and listen to the part about avocados. I just recently planted one. It has a few fruit on it. When I bought it, somebody said I should pluck the fruit to encourage root growth. That's with a lot of plants, most plants in general, actually. You know, when it comes down to if you're buying plants out of the store or getting them and they've already got fruit on them, that fruit is because the plant's kind of stressed, mostly because they're in the pots and whatnot and waiting to be kind of sold and taken off and put into the ground or into a larger container so the root system can expand out. So they're just trying to get the seed, and they're just trying to, you know, like plants is all about, life is all about, is going to seed and producing the next generation of plant. And I'm sure same with avocados or anything else. Plucking off the fruit and the flowers as they're forming, similar to what like I do with the pepper plants too, because pepper plants, as they're getting going, even in a small stages, they like start putting those flowers out really quick. And I like just plucking those off just to give the plant more time to concentrate on its root growth and growing and getting you know, larger and large enough to be able to really support some good fruit growth on them. And so I'm sure the same is with avocados. I just haven't grown an avocado before, don't necessarily know for sure, but what I encourage you, Chris, to do is check out the video I did with Charles Malky and the IV Organics home garden video I just put out yesterday. He's one, he grows some avocados. He teaches and talks about growing avocados. He's got a lot of great knowledge about that. And get in the comment section and talk to him, ask him about your avocado plants, because I'm sure he'll give you some great pointers and tips. Or if you want to check out his channel, I bet you he's got some really good specific videos on avocados and growing avocados. So I'd check that out too for sure. Let's see here. So we went through, covered pretty much all of that sort of stuff. I think I've pretty much, I don't know if I've covered everything I was looking to grow. Well, you know, that I will address that, as I kind of did just a minute ago too, because one of the things when I first met up with Charles and stuff, that was one of the things about the whole meetup and everything we had to do. Kind of, I wanted to really focus on and talk about the Million Drops, the community resource center and everything that he had developed there and everything, and getting to meet up with him and what he did in volunteering his time and all that sort of stuff, I found to be really great, and that was something I really wanted to generally focus that video on. But the one thing that I really kind of came through with, because he does have a product, and in a sense that is what his garden channel is about, and he doesn't hide that at all. In fact, one of his taglines on his channel is that he's one of YouTube's largest garden product channel. And he says that he's a garden product channel, and he has a really great, unique product. I think that it probably really worked great for you in Mexico as well, because you're dealing with a lot of heat, you're dealing with a lot of sun scald and a lot of that sort of stuff. And I thought the product was unique enough that I thought that maybe it'd be great to kind of, give him some word about it and let him talk about it a bit and whatnot. I didn't necessarily want to make it too commercial and whatnot, but after getting to know and what the sort of things that were going on and everything, and furthering that sort of relationship with Charles, and getting to learn a lot about sort of things going on around all of that, I've kind of, without being paid or being sponsored or anything like that, I have no problem endorsing his product, or even giving him a bit of time showing what his product is all about while we get to do videos together. So I'm sorry if it seems like it's kind of a commercial or anything like that. That's kind of some of the things that kind of happen as we're kind of getting to meet up and do things with some of these situations. And without being paid, I would hate to say it, so it's not necessarily a commercial because I'm not being paid for it, but I do not have a problem at all kind of endorsing to the extent of my own knowledge, of the person, the product, the company, that sort of thing. You know what I mean? So, and like I said, I think it's something that literally, like, to me, it's unique. The whole idea that people, paint their trees in order to protect them from sun and cold, sun scald. It's, I think, a great idea, instead of using chemical, don't know what's in house paint that most people paint their trees with in order to get that white reflective type of thing on their trees. He's come up with a really awesome organic, completely organic solution that doesn't harm a tree, isn't going to impede its growth or anything like that, or get into the system of the tree and all that sort of stuff. So, and that sort of thing, I thought the product itself was kind of unique enough. I don't see any of that sort of thing out there. So I thought that was something that kind of made it something that needed, or in a sense, I thought would be cool if we could kind of show it a bit too, because it is very unique. It's not like, which he has fertilizer type of thing, is macros plus fertilizer and whatnot too, but there's a bunch of those sort of things out there. There's a bunch of companies and all those sort of things. You see all that sort of product all over the place, but the 3-in-1 thing that he's got, pretty unique. I thought it was pretty cool. Let's see. He says, sure, understandable. It's always good to meet other growers. Yeah, too. And that was one of the things I found really kind of fascinating about meeting up with him too, is just really great general plant knowledge. You know what I mean? I'm just a kind of a plant novice in a sense. I'm learning and growing and figuring things out, and gardening in my garden and all that sort of stuff. So it is kind of great and unique to be able to get together with people who really know what they're talking about sometimes when it comes to some of the things, and get a chance to really gain some of that knowledge in a way too. Well, so on that note, I kind of want to just kind of get with everybody here. It's about the time we're going to end this episode of this week's live with t.U.G. Just really glad that you all came along with me on this live garden adventure here that we're on. Like I said, it's week 4. We've been doing this what's basically a month now, and I've been really, really enjoying it. I've been enjoying hanging out and blabbing on and on about everything. I hope that you guys have all been enjoying hanging out with me here during this time. And remember, we're going to continue to do this each week, 5 o'clock on Wednesdays here, Pacific Standard Time, and get to talk about all the things that we got growing on, and hopefully talk with you guys about a lot of things that you got growing on. And let's see here, one thing, I think we got another one that comes in here. Let's see, Wisconsin vegetable gardener. Okay, real quick here. Wisconsin vegetable gardener asked the question real quick. What is something that you should be able to grow in your area, but just are not able to? Not necessarily. Well, I guess that's not. I mean, one of the problems I had last year was growing, and the grows fine for my neighbor right across the street at his place. He has a really big, really cool fig tree. Really great fig tree. So it's a variety that I know grows really well right here in my own neighborhood. I've tried taking cuttings, I've tried working and doing all the things, following videos. I've tried some air pruning and doing some things right now. I haven't been able to quite get that done yet. That's one of the things that I'm really trying and working on. I was really hoping to be able to do some of that this year and whatnot, but I just haven't been able to be kind of, I don't know. Maybe I'll just kind of run an experiment or something like that on it or something and see about it. But yeah, I got cuttings 2 years in a row and just haven't been able to get successful with them. I've gotten them to a point too where they just start getting some leaves and everything going. I'm thinking everything's right, and then I don't know what happens. I'm doing something wrong. I don't know. I'm gonna have to, hopefully figure that out. But one of the things, as I mentioned earlier, about like peppers, which I had a really hard time getting peppers growing over the first few seasons of my garden, my first few seasons gardening. But learned over time and got them down to a really good system. And each year I've been kind of doing some really good peppers and everything. So that's something, like I said, hopefully you get a chance to check out, as I got a video hopefully coming out here in the next couple of weeks talking about all of our peppers we're going to get growing out into the outdoor gardens and all of that sort of stuff. But on that note, I want to say goodbye to everybody today and thank you all for joining me here on this live stream. It's just been so wonderful having you here with me and getting a chance to get to visit with everybody. And if you can, like the video, or if you didn't get a chance to see the beginning of the video too, and you kind of joined in a little bit late or anything like that, go back and check the beginning out on the replay. If there's any comments or anything like that, hit me in the comment section down below. I love to hear anything that you got to say or anything like that. And again, goodbye everybody. You all have a wonderful, wonderful week, and I really hope to see you